Welcome to the Lakeshow podcast presented by Jack in the Box. It's a weekly deep dive into the biggest stories and topics surrounding the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm Allie Clifton, joined by my Spectrum SportsNet co-host, Chris McGee, and our Laker insider, Mike Bresnahan. Why the sigh?
No, I was just thinking
Already.
the amount of Jack in the Box that I ate, especially as a younger man.
Growing up.
Like 18, 19, 20 after surf, we were very into a couple guys that I would go with, and we would always go right over to Las Vegas. On the way back, you'd hit the Jack in the Box and just smash.
Is that the one right off the 101?
And I miss those days.
Yeah.
The ultimate cheeseburger,
Yeah.
tacos.
Good
Big Game
times.
says don't sleep on the egg rolls.
That was so funny.
That really cracked up D-Fish when you did that on the
Yeah,
postgame
don't sleep
show.
on. He said it to Billy Mack on a broadcast, filling in for Stu that day, and it went viral.
I remember because I had to do the game
real
the next
ones
night.
now.
I had to do the game the next night, and I was like, how am I going to top Big Game in the egg rolls? Like, what am I going to do now?
Yeah. By the way, you did pretty well because I remember texting you. It was right before All-Star break. Do you remember?
Yes, I remember.
That it was that's when you did it, right?
Yeah.
So I went to Kansas City for a volleyball tournament and was in there a day early for Millie's tournament. And I walked to a bar and I was having a drink, afternoon, solo and a burger. And I look up and it was all about you on ESPN.
Wow.
Oh,
Sports
yeah,
Center.
I do
Yeah.
remember you texting me. Yeah. I
So
should have
you
written it
did
down.
one up James.
I
James
didn't
just had
one-up
like,
him.
you know,
I just took that egg roll energy into it.
the real late night Jack in the Box
roll
box crowd.
energy.
You know.
That was so funny. Now he's just flying high with like the greatest airplanes.
Apparently he's
High
going to
in
be
Dubai.
here tomorrow. So he really
He
was
has
gone
no
for
excuse.
48 hours is what I'm saying. Like,
Have you
that's a long
seen the
to go.
way he flew?
Yeah. Did you see the
I
champagne?
mean, yeah, the champagne. They gave him the microphone.
Oh, I didn't see. Is that on
what?
his Instagram?
Oh,
I missed
the
way back.
NBA posted it. He was addressing the people on the airplane.
That's what he did.
Come on.
He did tell
That's
us
crazy.
a bunch like, you know, I'm going to be doing a lot of my work on the plane. I was like, what does that mean? Yeah.
That's amazing.
Did he
I get it.
fly the plane? Did he get in the cockpit?
No, you know how like when he does the
Announcements on Southwest.
preseason,
Oh,
when he
yeah.
flies to Vegas. But he was doing it on the freaking first class of the first class.
Seriously,
planes.
there's a market for him. Like airlines just hiring him to like go on flights and like
Seriously.
talk to people would be pretty.
I
Pretty legit.
I spoke at Pierce College today, Valley Junior College. And at the very end, very, very pleasant crowd.
Woodland Hills.
Woodland
Yeah.
Hills. Yeah. At the very end, he said, that was great. Thank you so much for your time. I was there for almost 2 hours. He said, is there any way you could get James Worthy to come in too? I'm not even kidding. It was great. It was great. I told a lot of James stories. I told stories about us. It was really
That's
fun couple
all
hours.
time.
Yeah. He's like, hey, nice job.
How many?
How about big game?
How many?
That is funny.
Was it students or older people? You
Older
did-
people.
Like how old? Like middle? like
In their 70s, actually.
Oh.
It was a special group of
Okay.
huge fans. And I feel like every week there's a speaker there. Mostly sports, I get the feeling. And just a great Q&A session with everyone at Pierce. And
How many
really,
people?
really fun time. Probably about 65 to 70.
okay, Brez.
Yeah, it was a good crowd. Big classroom.
Do you feel like
and-
you educated them well?
Yeah, they had a lot of really good, pointed, and direct Laker questions.
Yeah.
And it went all the way back
Were
to
you
Jerry
breaking it
West.
down like Turt stuff? Like were you talking like terms, or were you more like just
No,
telling
no.
the behind the scenes stories?
behind the scenes and stories?
Did you talk about how cold it is,
No, I haven't
sometimes
yet.
here? No?
Yeah.
Right now.
or what? Like what'd you talk about? Like, hey, we're switching conference moves. We're in Alaska, Hawaii.
No,
Like,
no.
How deep did you go?
Actually, one person did ask about that. It was more like, what was Kobe like to cover? Do you have any good Jerry West stories? And of course, I told the one about the voicemail, the Jerry West
Yeah,
voicemail.
yeah, I know that
had to tell him that one. What's James like to work with? It wasn't really like, one person did say, what do you do during game nights? I said, do you all stay in the studio and watch the games? I said, no, we go to a conference room, a couple hundred feet away, and
Did
watch
anyone
it.
ask if Gator and Allie get along?
No
if
one
they
asked
actually
that.
like each other?
No one asked that actually.
No?
No.
We
Why,
get
is
that
it- we get
occasionally.
We get that occasionally.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the Jerry West story?
He was running the Memphis Grizzlies. He was already done with the Lakers, and the Lakers happened to be in town there for a game right before the trade deadline, 15 years ago, more than 15 years ago, and the Memphis Laker beat writer says, Brez, you got to listen to this voicemail. I'm like, okay. It's like an hour and a half before tip off. We go into this little media room, and it plays it for me. It's Jerry West. And again, he was running the Grizzlies, and the Memphis beat writer that day in his paper had a trade rumor story. I don't even remember which player it was. This player is on the way out of town. Memphis has gotten tired of him. He's being shopped and maybe shipped. So, and that happens a lot around the trade deadline. Jerry West calls him and leaves a voicemail. Says, Ron Tillery, Jerry West here. I don't know who your source is, but they're god-awful. I'm going to tone it down a little bit language-wise. You need to apologize to your editor, to your readers, to your family, to your friends. That is one of the worst piece of you-know-what stories I've ever read in my entire life. I mean, is that what counts as journalism these days? He goes on and on and on for 2 minutes about how bad this guy's trade rumor story was. Then finally, at the very end of the voicemail, Jerry West says to Ron Tillery, anyway, Ron, you pretty much got it right. Give me a call later in the office.
That's amazing.
That's Jerry West right there. Like,
That's awesome.
he'll stick it to you. He'll yell at you.
Were you given the real words that he said to the people of Pierce?
Yeah, a little bit more liberal with the words there. Yeah. But it was a lot of bleeps for sure. But that's Jerry, He'll get emotional because it's not good for him, not good for any GM to have a player in a trade rumor story, It's not good for the locker room. The player might get nervous. The player's agent might be calling. GMs don't like trade rumor stories at all.
Yeah.
So that's what Jerry was upset about. But then in the very end, he admitted that, it's correct. So
That's funny.
I don't even remember who the player was. Wish I could.
Great story.
Yeah.
You know who else gave it to the media? Who else likes to give it to the media occasionally from time to time? Anthony Davis.
Oh,
He did it today at practice.
He did?
what happened?
God love the man.
Were you there?
We always feel like I was there. We always feel like we get a lot from Anthony Davis,
He's
right?
great.
After games. He's always so good with his answers, his time, et cetera. Today, he was not having it.
Oh.
He did not want to talk to
Wait,
us.
no.
We not for the podcast,
Oh, okay.
but you guys will probably put it in the show tonight. And I mean that respectfully with a smile on my face. He walked over and he had a smirk on his face, but his initial thoughts out of his mouth were, I don't want to talk to you guys. And then we proceeded to ask how he was because obviously the eye injury. By the way, his eye, if you look at it, looks like he has a glass contact on it. And I thought he was going to take us there to tell us that's why he was not going to wear goggles, because there was some level of technology where you can just actually protect the cornea. Whoa. I don't think that's the case because obviously as you listen to the answers, he is not wearing goggles unless he's told he has to and there's further damage.
He said that?
Yep. He said, I've wore him.
Is he playing?
He doesn't like him.
He is playing on Wednesday. He's available. But his eye
Does he
doesn't
get hit in
look
the eye
great.
twice a week now? I feel like he gets hit in the face all the time.
With him and Austin
Yeah.
Reeves, they must lead the league in face.
Yeah, but
smacks.
Austin doesn't leave the game. Like he's left multiple games and not come back.
Yeah. Happened back in March. We talked about it on the postgame show that night. And AD tried, this is 8 months ago. Mm-hmm. He tried during practice that week, running around in goggles. He said they fogged up, they bothered him. He does not want to wear goggles. He just doesn't. So
Apparently, I don't remember this, but was there like a stint in the bubble when he wore them? He goes, for like 20 seconds because maybe it didn't he experienced the same thing. Oh, it was during practice.
Yeah, I kind of remember that too.
So it must be a thing where he did say specifically, unless you tell me that I'm going to have
Like
a
lose
further
my
injury,
eyesight.
then I am. He's like, I'm not going to wear
He's
them.
tried him. He's tried him. He's just not comfortable with them.
He pointed out the thought of big game. He's like, I think that's why he wore them.
Yeah.
He was like, don't quote me, but I believe that's why he wore them.
No, he wore them because he had a horrible eye injury, scratch on the cornea or whatever. And he was out for a while. And then when he came back, he was very hesitant and very just not himself. And it was Kareem that said, you're not playing the way you usually play. Try these goggles. And he never
Whoa.
went back.
Wow.
That's good intel.
Well, despite not wanting to talk to us, he said he is playing on Wednesday, and he
why
did
didn't
have
he
a
want to
smile.
talk to us?
They're probably just because
Did
he
you-
walked away and
Did you remind him like $57 million you kind of have to?
Well, that's why he stood there.
Yeah, okay.
He did it,
Yeah,
yeah. That's why he ended up doing it. But he did walk
really
away.
tough talking to us twice a week.
He said, "Don't ask me again about the goggles."
Yeah.
As a joke, he was giving the guys
Yeah.
crap. But
No, AD always gives us great sound. I
He's
always
awesome.
appreciate him.
Yeah.
And I was kidding about the money.
right,
Well, it is in the NBA player contract. You have to talk after every game and
talk.
after practice. And
But no, we don't hold him to
Yeah.
it. Nobody does. So
because he does talk every game,
Yeah.
which is nice.
yeah,
what?
he does.
Because
He's
he
good.
does talk every game.
every
He's
game.
good.
which is nice.
I got to be honest. We are very lucky in that regard because like LeBron talks a lot, AD talks a lot, Kobe talked all the time. Like we're very lucky to have our stars talking instead of guys because there are who they are too. There are guys that just
Kobe was an every game guy too.
absolutely
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, you've heard
That's
me
so
tell
nice.
the story. The night he tore his Achilles,
Oh yeah,
came
I
out and talked
remember
to us
that.
for like
Yep.
8 minutes on
Yeah.
crutches. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
That was unbelievable.
Yeah. So good to know that he will be available for the Grizzly game. on Wednesday. The other news that came from JJ today was about Christian Wood experiencing soreness in his knee, and so they're going to actually scale back and reevaluate him in 4 weeks.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, even though he posted on his Instagram a layer of photos and put soon, that timetable has been pushed back for about another 4 weeks.
Wow.
I mean, listen, I'm just saying it's part of sports, but like Wood and Vando, it's just, you build your roster. It's unfortunate for Rob and, of course, for JJ's staff, but for everybody, like those are huge spots, like very, very valuable spots needed on this roster that would really help this team.
Yep.
And there's no sign of them coming back yet. So it's just tough. It's brutal.
Yeah.
I remember talking to Christian on media day, and I said to him, that's over a month ago now, month and a half ago. I said, you can be back in time for my birthday, November 5th? He said, you know what? I hope so. Yeah, that's kind of right around the time I want to be back. So here we are a week after that, exactly. And it's disappointing, I'm sure, for not just him, but for the Laker organization, because he does have a unique skill set. He can stretch that floor. He can get you 8 rebounds in 18 minutes.
Yep, a couple blocks.
Yeah. He's got some talent, and he's on a very affordable contract, being on a vet's minimum. So it's good value. It's just you got to get him on the court.
Watch your team defense and what that does when a guy like Jared Vanderbilt is available.
Right,
Plays
right.
24 minutes a night. Changes things.
Yep.
So those are 2 valuable guys.
That's a bummer.
The other news out of practice on Tuesday was that D'Angelo Russell did not participate, dealing with an illness, which we knew Braun had, Rui had. And I was caught wind being at the arena the last couple games that it kind of went through the team during that road trip. So maybe D'Lo's experiencing that as well in terms of the
Flu,
illness.
cold, cough, the whole deal.
All the things, yeah. All right. Having
Going
said all of
through
that.
the McGee house right now.
Oh, it is?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Everyone
Something
okay?
Whooping cough.
Oh, jeez.
What?
Yeah, they got tested for yesterday.
That's serious
Do you
business.
have it?
No, my daughter.
Oh, no.
Yeah, she hasn't gone to practice.
no.
Don't know if she got allowed to play in the state game tomorrow. I know. It's been a bummer.
How's
I
she?
know.
Is she
Apparently
cognizant?
it's going around to all these schools. I'm like, what?
Hey.
Oh, God.
What is that? That's just horrible coughing, right? It's just over and
Yeah,
over.
it's just nonstop. But I don't. Well, that one I don't know. I'm just saying she's got a brutal cough. I don't know what whooping cough, but it's one of the things they tested for.
Oh, I see.
It's going around.
Okay,
Yeah.
so she doesn't have it.
Your guy, Dr. Paul,
Dr. Paul.
asked how Brez was doing
Yeah.
in the office
Dr.
yesterday.
Paul's media care. Is that what he calls it?
Yeah,
Emergency care. Right on the corner of Artesian Aviation.
he's been in the studio before.
Really? Oh, yeah. I actually have never met Dr. Paul. Sent me to the emergency room, but I've never met him. Yeah.
Next time you're there, you got to say, "Do you know who I am?"
No, I do not.
Allie
say that.
Clifton. Give me Dr. Paul.
Did Dr. Paul tell her to open their freezer? And breathe the cold air
Oh.
No,
into the lungs?
they didn't give us much.
No. Just rest.
Just the same old
Let it
stuff
run its
they usually
course.
give. Like, yeah, do this, and this, and they took the blood test for all the other stuff, and we'll get the results and see what it is. But
Okay.
yeah, it's interesting. Not much.
Shoot.
That sounds like something fun to
Like a
do.
little more, Dr. Paul.
Call us on the podcast.
Oh, shoot.
Send us a little note.
No, we love Dr. Paul. He's great.
He's the best.
Well, if you need someone to take Zeffie, keep her from getting whooping cough, I got you. Having said that, there are some positives for the Lakers. They have one more home game before they head on the road for a couple, taking on the Grizzlies. They're 5-0 at Crypto.com Arena this year. So far, no Ja Morant, no Desmond Bane, no Marcus Smart. Coming up on Wednesday, Braun playing at this weird level of back-to-back triple doubles. By the way, I want to address something really quick.
Please.
You guys probably heard me ask the question in the locker room about the rebound. I don't know what's been circulating on the internet regarding this. However, this fan was next to us where we sit, and he was wearing a Bronny James jersey. And for like 8 minutes, we all know that Bron was sitting on needing one more rebound for a triple double. We just all assumed probably that he would get it a lot faster than he did.
100%, we all did, yeah.
But the moment was more so, not to draw attention to any betting or any whatever's going on in our universe in sports these days. I just thought the moment was cool.
Yeah.
But it's since taken a different twist and turn.
has
So
it really?
I just want you all to know it wasn't about all of that, at least not
Has
from
it?
my
What are the turns?
So what's on the
about doing it for maybe the guy took a bet or something.
I mean,
and
that's
Bron
where
was-
we took it because we were just
Oh,
having
really?
fun with it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we did it on air. Oh, yeah, we're like,
Kidding about it.
props to LeBron for getting that guy's parlay.
Does he split the ticket? No.
Oh,
of course
was
we
it a
know
real
That's
parlay?
not happening.
No, we just said that.
We
I
just.
don't-
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's what it went to on the
yeah,
internet too.
we were just like saying.
I
he
live
needed one
under a
rebound.
rock.
If I had to bet, I'm sure it was on. No pun intended, but I'm sure it was on the triple double because he had one rebound. But I liked it that get one more rebound because maybe he had like a triple double on his FanDuel account.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
That's probably pretty good odds for any player. 10-1.
I mean, the guy was like, "Dude, get a
20-1.
rebound."
The 2 nights before, there was a section right there as well, screaming for Bron, and he never once looked. And so then fast forward 48 hours later, he does take it a moment to like look, and it happened in that fashion.
Yeah.
So it was just kind of funny for those that sit in that area to kind of see it. But
Is that still going around though? That rebound thing?
oh yeah,
It is.
yeah, it was yeah. I didn't
job,
know. I
Allie.
just thought the dude's almost 40 years old getting back-to-back triple doubles. Here we are.
Right.
But wow, shows you how much I know about betting.
Viral Alley.
You guys, we should have a segment every week. You guys tell me.
Yeah,
what's-
my brother
what's
would
going on-
appreciate that one.
What's going on Twitter and if it's worth me looking.
What'd you say?
You guys, we should have a segment every week. You guys tell me what's on Twitter and what's going on and if it's worth me looking. Like I didn't know this was going around.
Yeah, where have you been? Do you not
Twitter's
on Twitter?
trash. I don't go.
You're
there.
not on it anymore, are
No.
you? You were for the
I will be for like.
World Series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a weird place.
That also went around. Freddie
Yeah.
calling out Bron for
I'm in it for
misspelling
like
his name.
I will like look at it Laker nights for sure, like when we're doing our shows and games and for stuff like that. But I'm just not spending time on it.
Yeah, I'm with
Yeah.
you.
Have you been on it enough to get any of the reaction to JJ through the first 10 games?
No.
No. I feel
That was
it's
one of
been-
the questions I fielded today from the fellas.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, what do people think about JJ? And, he's definitely intense. And I told this story of, I got to interview him about 2 weeks before training camp. And I got to go over the facility. It was going to be an 11 o'clock, 11:15 maybe, interview with JJ. Just 5 minutes or so. That's what I was told. And he comes out there. And I made the joke. He came out about 11:27, I think it was. And he made the joke. I made the joke, actually. Hey, man, nice to meet you. So let's just take like 45 minutes, maybe an hour. He's like, nope, we're going to be done at 11:32. He knew exactly what time he was going to be done with this interview, starting at 11:27, 5 minutes, and he's on to the next thing. Like, he is so organized and so down to the minute and so intense and so all in. And so another question was, well, are the players buying in? I'm like, yeah, it sure looks like it. I mean, stumbles on the road. They got to work on the road stuff for sure. But yeah, I mean, he's already made a good move, putting D'Lo in the reserve role. I think that's worked out great over 2 games. How long will it last? You and I were talking about this, Geet. Don't know. Could be another couple weeks. Could be the rest of the season. Could be a couple games. I mean, but so far, that's a good move he made, and I just like his intensity, and I think he has fun with the media too. I like his quotes too.
Only feedback I've gotten from fans is they absolutely love him.
Mm-hmm.
People love that he shows emotion. People love that he cares like them. People love that he's intense. Every coach that coaches in the NBA is a competitive person beyond what you can imagine. It's their life. They get paid.
Mm-hmm.
They usually played the game, whatever, coach the game, whatever it is. But he kind of wears it on his sleeve a little bit, and I think people can identify with that, and they like it. So I think it's cool for people to see that. Now, can he be that way for 20 years in a row? You're going to learn as you go on, how to probably show it in certain ways. But he's not afraid to let you know how it feels, and I think that's awesome. That's what makes him a great communicator. So I feel like everyone loves him.
Yeah,
He's been great, right? Dan Wojcicki was in here yesterday talking about
likes him.
how great he's been and easy he's been, and so I think the media is digging it.
Speaking of the communication, I actually asked a question today about when he recognized from player to coach communication is important. And it was towards the end of his availability, just because I think that's the big thing that we've talked about or heard throughout the locker room, right? The communication, the players respecting it. And he had made a point to talk about the little things. And he gave an example of the Sacramento game, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's like, he told the guys at their morning meeting before that Sac game. Obviously, we're going through 3 playoff teams right now, right? We don't play again after this game tonight until Monday night in Phoenix. There will be no practice on Sunday. We are not going to do shoot around on Monday morning. He was like, so you have to give everything you have now, and the next time you have to do it again is not until Monday night. And he just like just that layer and element, he was like, I think players need to hear, you know, and I just find that interesting. But it's kind
coaches
of
could get forgetful of what they loved as players. They
very
could
true.
forget
Yeah.
what worked, you know, and you say you got coached 30 years ago, you can be stuck in a time that worked back then, but maybe doesn't work now. I think that's the genius of JJ, is that he's probably using things from Coach K, but what worked, what didn't work, all the NBA coaches that he had, the different guys, broadcasting, talking to coaches, and as a player, like what he loved and what he didn't, what worked for certain guys, what didn't. I mean, he like when he says he's maniacal, he is. Like he has all that stuff. And I think like Steve was the same way when Steve took that job at Golden State. Steve had every scenario possible thought of. So when he went into those interviews, he absolutely, like, they were legendary because, you know, we're like, oh my God, this guy's, he's another level of smart, right? He had everything thought out.
And I think you're right that as JJ progresses year after year, season after season, hopefully he makes it 20 years, right?
Yeah.
I would go back and laugh at the way Phil, maybe the Lakers lost in Charlotte, like they always did during the Kobe Powell era. I never understood it. It was a big storyline, and they always lost like Gerald Wallace or Steven Jackson. Something crazy would happen down there in Charlotte, and a very good Laker team would again lose to a very bad Charlotte team. Always on the road. I remember talking, another loss in Charlotte. Someone said to Phil right away, "Oh, you lost to the Bobcats again," or whatever they were called that particular year. Phil's like, "Hey, it's February. Let's talk again in like May or June." Like he just let every loss roll off of him, and I think JJ will eventually get to that point because he takes the losses really hard. You can see him at the podium. It's really a table, not a podium, talking to the writers and broadcasters that are out there. He takes these things a lot tougher than any coach I've seen in recent memory.
And there's something about when you've won a title that you just don't sweat. Your view on things changes.
Yeah.
Over time, right? Like you've won titles, you know how to do it. It's happened for you. So that loss to the Bobcats in February
right.
doesn't mean anything.
Phil won 11 of them, so he doesn't care
That's
about.
What I mean. Like he does not care about that. Now he's going to care about certain nights where they don't compete, whatever. But he knows how to let it roll off the duck's back, as they say, water off a duck's back. Like that's the beauty. I think that's where I think Phil's the GOAT of all time. Like he just knew exactly how to manipulate all those. Like, hey, you know what? We're not talking about that tonight.
Yeah. If he asked one too many questions about the Bobcat loss that night, he'd be like, "All right, I've had enough of you guys. I'll see you tomorrow." Just laughing at us.
He was the master. I mean, I'll never forget. He did it to Fish's team when it was at 2000. That first year he was with the Lakers, and they weren't like all the ex-Bulls guys, the Judd Bushlers of the world and Steve Kerr. They all say like when you're around Phil for a long time, you start to see all this. You see all his little tricks and everything. But that first year, the Lakers were on a mission. I mean, Shaq was unstoppable. Kobe, they were rolling through everybody, and he was like, I don't know. I think 4-2 would probably be good on this. It was the Grammy road trip. Yeah, I think
that's right.
It was like 5-2, 4-2, 4-3. It was a 7-game trip, and like just put it out there on the LA Times, put it out to everything. Like, yeah, that's probably what we're shooting for. It's probably what this team's capable of. They went like 6-7-0, and they were like, "F you." So it's just fun. You know what I mean? Like he loved
really good at jabbing.
Yeah, and they were tied with Portland that year, coming out of the All-Star break, first in the conference. And it was a huge rivalry. Remember, they ended up playing and won 7 games. Everyone knows that story. Phil said, which he never would do this. There's like 38 games left, 37 games left. Yeah, I think the winner of this game will, and it was at Portland. I think the winner of this game will go on to win the division. And I was like, wait. And sure enough, Lakers came out, smashed them, and literally Portland like lost a few in a row. Lakers separated and ended up having that number 1 seed. But it was just interesting how he'd put those little things out there.
Yeah, that is interesting.
And Riley was great out too. James will tell you, like Pat Riley was phenomenal at that kind of stuff. Pat way more fiery on the sideline than Phil was, right? Phil was sitting, Pat standing.
Yeah.
So everyone's got their different.
Which is why everyone was so quick to use the name Pat Riley when thinking about JJ Redick as a head coach.
Yeah.
Yeah. 6-4 through the first 10 games. He did confirm and clarify today that it was only 1 clipboard, not multiple.
Oh,
he's only broke 1 clipboard.
They asked about what Shams said?
It was just about handling emotions, and his story took him to the point of, and occasionally you may break a clipboard. And he was like, and then someone, Dave was like multiple, and he was like 1.
By the way, it takes a certain amount of self-confidence and awareness to be able to roll like that in an NBA arena around NBA players and veterans. Like, they got to believe in you, trust you, and you got to have serious cred, because there could be guys in the league. I'm not going to use LeBron's example, 20 years, but he's different. But, say a guy that's been in the league for 11 years, 10 years, been on 3 or 4 different teams, like, could be like, dude, chill.
Yeah.
But no one's doing that yet. Like, he's got their attention.
That's true.
Pretty impressive for a guy that, he's got a certain amount of, but you take some confidence.
Obviously, they have the Memphis
Here's
game.
how I'm doing it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm pissed. I'm going to let you guys know, and then we're out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have the Memphis game first, but I will be interested to see, especially because the Cup starts on Friday in San Antonio. But if they really
You'll be
can
there.
figure things out on the road, that'll be interesting.
Guys, it was a weird road trip, right? Like,
Yeah.
Cleveland smashing everyone. The Phoenix game was really tight. Detroit, they just weren't ready to play.
That was
right?
the weird one.
Win Toronto. That was the one that hurt them.
No AD in Memphis, right?
No
Yeah,
AD in Memphis.
or Rui.
It's hard to judge them on those 5. It's an early road, but there's no question that, like, they have to be better on the road,
Much
because we know this team from the last couple of years. So we're just going off of what we know. They have to get that right. You're not going to win, 90% of them, but you have to be. You got to be decent on the road.
You don't want to be like that Golden State team
No.
from a couple years ago.
No, that was so
Great
weird.
at home.
You don't want to be that team.
All right, let's do a round of stats you like, stats you don't like. You're up first. Stats you like, stats you don't like.
I love D'Lo plus 31.
Ooh.
The last 2 games off the bench. And I think what's impressed me, and I know we've all talked about on last night's show, Brez, you talked about it in the post-game show, we talked about it. So I'm not giving you anything new, but he's able to cook with that unit a little bit, because he's a primary ball handler with either a LeBron or an Austin Reeves with him. It's usually LeBron. When he's with Austin and LeBron and AD, it's tough to do what he does best, right? Which is have the ball in his hands, kind of understand the flow of a game. He can attack, he can navigate, he can shoot, he can get guys involved. And I feel like he's better with that group later in the game because he's already in a flow. But when he starts the game and he's just not getting the ball and he's just not as good. Bottom line. So when he comes off the bench, it's interesting. He's just, and I give him a lot of credit because he's the one that was like, yeah, whatever it's got to take. He didn't pout. He came out and balled out. But his usage is way up. And then because of whatever, AD being out or foul trouble, he's closing these games. He's been in the games at the end with these guys, and he's great there too because I think he's already in this rhythm. And he's happy. He's a good place. So I don't know. Plus 31 in 2 games. Impressive.
Yeah, that's a good stat.
Yeah, it's a good stat. B. Moore found that. Our producer is a good guy.
I like the fact they've won their first 5 home games, but it becomes a real statistic if they win against Memphis, win their first 6 home games. First time that's been done around here since 2010. So that to me is...
Brez, did you know they won 5 in a row last year?
No, I don't remember that at all.
Do you remember that?
No.
Allie?
What?
That they won their first 5 home games
No.
last year?
The Lakers?
Yeah.
None of us realized
I thought
that.
they'd lost their first 15 over the last
I know.
2 years.
I know.
It was a
Really?
very late developing 5th win at home. I feel like it was almost at Thanksgiving. They must have been on the road a lot last year to start the
I don't
season,
remember
too.
that at all.
At all.
It was very late.
I know.
In fact, producer,
What would they do? 5-5 in their first?
I don't even remember. It just
Well, I remember they started on the road,
5-5.
lost in Denver.
yeah. It wasn't great overall.
God.
It was 2 years ago where
I
they were
did not
like
remember
2-9 to start. They were
Yeah.
2-10 to start the year. But if they win their first 6, that's something special. I mean, we already talked about
And
the road
Brez, they should
woes.
win this game, right? Like, they're favored. They're at home.
Yeah,
they
they'll-
got to win this game.
Assuming AD plays, they'll be favored by double digits.
We
I
do
would
have
assume.
some
Yeah.
news and updates.
Memphis is all beat up,
Marcus Smart was a full participant in
Okay,
practice
hold
today
on
and
a
is
sec.
now a game time decision.
All right, let's lower that to about 7.5 will be
Missed
the
the last
Lakers
6
spread.
games.
Just guessing, haven't looked at it yet.
Okay.
Assuming AD plays. He's tough, good defender.
Stat you don't
That's
like.
a good stat. It's a good stat.
Yeah.
Geeter.
Another stat that the voice of God gave us. 26th in team defense. It's a stat I don't like, Brez.
Yeah.
And it's a stat that's obviously, it's like saying it over and over again, but when you're missing another big, Christian Wood, and you're missing your best defender in Jared Vanderbilt, obviously you're not going to be the defensive team that you potentially can be when everyone's healthy, but That's the story of the NBA. Not everyone's healthy all the time, right? So, but the reason why I'm bummed them on it is because a lot of that is some of the effort stuff.
Yep.
Detroit.
Yep. Giving up 131 to Memphis that
Some of
night.
the Toronto game, the Cavs game, it's basically the road games. They fell apart defensively, and a lot of that was the effort, and JJ called them out on it. But so that's why that stat sucks for me.
It's a good one. I'm going to go offense for mine. You guys might be shocked at this, but 3-point shooting, bottom 10, basically bottom 5 in both 3-pointers made and 3-pointers attempted, just outside the bottom 5 in 3-pointers attempted. Wow. It's like you just got to catch up with the rest of the league.
I feel like there's a little more.
No.
I thought I looked the other night and saw 30. So what about percentage? Where are they?
Right around 17 to 19%. Yeah, they've definitely dropped off.
That surprises me.
Yeah, I agree. And I had so much optimism for this team.
Brez,
especially because they're 5th in offensive rating.
I'm curious, Brez, if it's at home.
They're so good at fast break points and also around the paint.
They are. You know what? I mean, honestly, guys, I think we need to. It's who they listen. LeBron and AD.
17th 3-point accuracy.
17th are your two best players. They are so good at going downhill and attacking and picking. So
why are we complaining?
Yeah, so I get that part, but because everyone talked about them shooting more, so it is a story. But bottom 5 and 3-pointers made is a problem.
Just outside the bottom 5 in one of them, but it's surprising to me. I thought they'd be better in that category, especially with a coach who really was pushing that.
I feel like they're a better 3-point shooting team than they're getting. Austin Reeves, individually. D'Lo, Rui, they can all shoot. LeBron, AD's shooting better.
Yeah, D'Lo was not good the first 8 games. Much better these last 2.
Whereas I would say the bench guy's got to be better at shooting threes.
Yeah.
Dalton
absolutely.
hasn't been what we know he's going to be. Gabe Vincent has struggled.
Gabe is at 19.
Okay, so that has hurt.
Yep.
That's hurt that number.
Absolutely. On the plus side, AD, he's hit a couple threes, a couple games in a row. I mean, I like seeing that from him.
If you listen to JJ in that backstage Lakers piece that just got put out, where he brought the team together, and he said he basically wrapped up practice and he looked at AD in front of everyone and he said, "And you, don't be taking threes in practice and not shooting them in the game, okay?"
Did everyone laugh?
No.
No, it was dead serious.
He was very serious. I was
Is that episode out right now? I need to see that.
I
need to record that episode.
Yeah.
Michael
backstage.
Let's put that in the show tonight. Let's just run that during the show.
Let's just run that the whole time.
I got an idea.
Lakeshow fans, remember, you can be a part of this show.
Trainers go 720 to 740.
Tweet us your questions and comments. We'd love to hear from you. We're going to take a quick break when we come back.
Michael Koger in here, some director's notes.
Koger in here.
Welcome back to the Lakeshow podcast presented by Jack in the Box. If you're enjoying the show, you can check out more original podcasts from our Spectrum News journalists on the Spectrum News app. Just head to the podcast section to listen to the latest episodes. You can download the Spectrum News app on the App Store or Google Play. Are you guys freezing?
It's about 64 in here.
Yeah, always.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you guys freezing?
Brett?
But haven't you been in here?
Okay
Everyone's been freezing for.
I haven't. I've been at the
here.
arena.
Oh. Yeah.
Okay, well, it's ice cold.
Try watching a game in
I have
Hawaii.
wet dog nose. What?
Hawaii is insane. Just wait till you're in there one night.
The Hawaii
Really?
conference room.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
All right, time for a round
Oh,
of
are we
bucket
on the
or
air
break.
right now? Yeah. Oh, my bad. Hawaii is where we watch the games. I totally thought we were off the air. Glad I didn't cuss.
We should go to Hawaii, though, take a trip.
Hawaii would not be as cold.
Hawaii's a conference room.
Welcome back. Time for a round of bucket or brick, presented by Jack in the Box. Excited for the return of the NBA Cup, bucket or brick?
Go ahead, Geet.
I'm going to bucket.
Yeah.
I'm going to bucket. I think it's cool when it's different courts. I like that. I like that there's a little more coverage around it. I think everyone gets a little more excited. Everyone knows what I don't like. I don't like games that don't count.
Yes.
Okay? NBA Cup, pool play, quarterfinal, semifinal, all in. Love it. Counts for your record. Must-win games. Lakers got a tough pool this year. I'm into it. Don't like games that don't count like the finals. That's it.
Yeah, I'm in. I have the same. Can I cut and paste what you just said?
Yeah.
I mean, totally agree. It's fun. It's new mid-season energy, not even mid-season, early season energy. I feel like the Lakers went really hard for it last year. You know, LeBron was definitely leading that charge. And, you know, it's not bad to get a $500,000 bonus if you win the thing. But I didn't like what happened afterwards. They had a big swoon in December. And
The guys were happy, though, from what I was told.
What's that?
Guys were real happy last year.
Yeah.
That money was
$500K
real.
just for winning one extra game at the end of a tournament.
Stuff I would do with $500K.
Yeah. It counts to
Pretty
them,
impressive.
by the way, that
yeah,
game.
Yeah.
It didn't count in the standings.
Yeah.
Didn't count to me or you, but it counted to the Lakers. They got a trophy, got a little so it counted to them. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying me personally as a fan. I care all the way up until the final. And then once you're there, you want to win, obviously.
There you go. You got to go for it.
You know.
We've got Spurs, Jazz, Sun, Grizzlies.
You got OKC.
Oh, OKC.
And the Suns.
Oh.
Utah and the Spurs, I believe, is our pool. Okay, yeah.
And OKC now without Chet. Interesting.
I know.
Interesting. And Katie's out
Yeah.
for a little bit. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Bucket or brick, Cam Reddish should absolutely remain in the starting lineup.
I'll bucket this, but it's going to be like a layup. You know, it's not a slam dunk. I really like whenever you crush the basket when you're really excited about something, like throw it on the ground and it smashes into a million pieces. Yeah, I like it. I like it. We're 2 games into it. At some point, you know, Cam's offense, it's not a strong suit. Maybe that could be a deficiency, but hey, he had 11 points the other night? A nice move to the bucket that I clearly remember. Yeah, I'm into it. Absolutely. It's a little strong for me. Here we are in game. He did it for games 9 and 10 of the season, but I'm cool with it.
For now, I'm going to bucket it as well.
Yeah.
Okay. It's working.
Yeah.
It is.
And I'm happy for him.
Yep.
Don't fix what's not broken. Is that the line?
You got that.
Bucket or brick, AD as a top 3 early season MVP candidate.
I mean, man, Bresnahan, Woike did their rankings last night. I think they had them right at 4 or so, but because the names on there are just, it's, you know,
silly.
They're all so good, but he is absolutely in the conversation. It's hard to go down to just 3 right now after 10 games, but yeah, he's right there for me. Jokic, SGA, Tatum, you know, AD, Donovan Mitchell. I think, you know, that's, you know, Woike was talking about, you know, Giannis's numbers are absolutely insanity right now, but the team's 2-9, so we kicked him out.
Yeah,
top
he
5,
lost that game.
Yeah, so AD, it's 100%. He's leading the league in scoring. He's doing everything.
I saw this ridiculous stat that through 10 games, Jokic is a 97.3 favorite to win his 4th MVP. And Tatum is in second at like 3 points.
Yeah, he's literally averaging a triple-double and doing whatever he wants out there.
Yeah. And they've won 5 in a row.
Yeah. They didn't look so good 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, so we'll see. You know, I'm kind of with Brez on this. Did you bucket it yet? Or
no, I have to break it only because yesterday I said he's 4th on my list.
Yeah.
I can't change overnight, especially after number 1 on my list. SGA had 45 points for OKC in his first game without, I keep forgetting the guy's name. I blew it on the air yesterday too. Chet Holmgren. Why can't I remember Chet Holmgren? But yeah, I think SGA, he's the one guy I think can give Jokic a run for his money. And I had, Celtics, good team, obviously.
Listen, we all know
Tatum 3rd.
It's got it. Your team has to be near the top for you to have a chance to win MVP.
It hurts to be 6
You
and
guys
4.
want another funny stat from the voice of God?
Yeah.
Yep.
Nikola Jokic has a better 3-point percentage than Andre Drummond has free throw percentage.
That's
wow.
So let me guess. 41% to 43. What is it? Like what's Jokic
What's
shooting?
the percentage? 56 to 53.
Props to Andre Drummond. 53.
That's insanity.
You need to rage with him. Your guy.
I'm not going to lie. I was
56
like,
from
is
3
Andre
for a
Drummond
big-
shooting 38% from the free throw line?
No, but
I think that's
Jokic
more
is
impressive
shooting-
of Jokic's
No,
3.
are you kidding me? That's the whole joke. 56%. What?
53 is still really bad.
But
in the
56%
NBA,
from 3?
it's
For
free.
The best center in the league?
Allie, what's your free throw percentage in high school and college?
Bad.
No.
70
way,
something,
really?
low 70s.
I would have guessed
No,
mid-80s.
maybe 60s.
Really?
That bothers me on many levels.
We'll talk about
That
it
was
later.
probably 88-ish, 89.
Yours
Wow.
was?
Yeah. I'm gonna text someone over there I'm gonna get D-Fish, look in the old record books.
Some crispy stats.
He should. Oh my God. We
I
should
know.
have a
I've
whole
always said
segment.
90, but I might have been a little bit there.
Yeah, you can round up.
Sorry
a
for
little
that word.
How about this? This is crazy. We're going to end on this. Who? I knew it. 68%.
We were 68%?
Yeah.
Andrew Miller with the win?
Yeah.
found that
Dude,
quickly.
I am actually.
How many did I shoot, Andrew Miller? By the way, congrats, Andrew Miller. I
You
haven't
were
seen
like
you
a little
face
more
to
of a.
face.
I guess you weren't like a.
God, horrible.
Didn't you get fouled a lot too?
213 times I went to
Weren't you
the
a
free
goal to
throw
the rack
line.
type of player, or were you a
What?
Pick and pop kind of play. What kind of player were you?
My nickname is Mac Truck.
I know. So you were to the hole.
Yes. Yeah. So I actually went to the free throw line.
Yeah.
God, I sucked.
Don't you have the record at
I
your school?
apologize, Toledo Nation.
For free throws in Van Wert history?
I had a great last bucket or brick, and he just told me that me sucking at free throws is a great way to end the podcast.
I thought
What was it?
No,
No,
I'm
get it in.
kidding.
Get it in. What?
It's not. It's just how bad the East is.
Bucket.
The top two teams, the Cavs, there's no bucket or brick here. The Cavs and the Celtics have above 500. You
Guys.
don't have to have an above 500 record to be the third seed in the Eastern
Is
Conference.
such trash.
That's crazy.
And I'm just sick of their fan base not owning up to it for years and years and years. And yes, the Celtics are really, really good. And yes, they won the championship. But when you get to just walk in there, it's a lot easier. Remember, Allie, you were with the Cavs?
I will let you say
LeBron
that
James
because
used to
you're not
just
talking
walk-
about the Cavs right
The Cavs
now.
used to just walk right into that final.
We still had to walk through the door,
But you had to walk into that final.
and we chose to walk in the door.
And you got the win for sure. That was
My
that was
guys were
earned.
playing the
But
flip
I'm
cup
just
challenge
saying,
on the
like,
bench.
The teams
That's how
you were
bored we were.
playing
Just kidding.
along the way.
You mad about it?
Back then, yes.
Bro, you mad?
Yes, I
4
was.
straight trips to the
I
finals.
was
You
back-
mad?
Yes,
Only
I
won
was
one,
back
but
then.
still. You
Dude,
mad?
you were playing like, oh my God, the Raptors were like the toughest competition. You'd win in 5, and you were playing like Orlando.
They had to beat the Celtics
Orlando.
in 7 on the
Hito
road.
Turkoglu was their second
Oh
best
my
player.
God, the Celtics sucked then. Oh,
They
you're
shut
playing
down the North.
awful teams.
Got lucky.
You know what? I can't take this.
You know that.
I can't take this.
You know that.
Me and my trash free throw percentage, we're going to walk right out of the studio,
Ellie,
okay?
back
Thanks to you for listening to the
Stay,
Lakeshow
because I
podcast.
forgot you're off tonight. Stay. Stay for a little
Presented.
bit. Let's keep
I
talking.
have to go
I
get
want
blood.
to FaceTime your
Presented
dad.
by
I was going to get him up here.
Let's keep
Jack
going.
in the Box. If you like what you hear, leave us a
Bill?
rating and review on your favorite
Bill,
podcast
what
app.
did
We
you
want to hear
shoot
from you.
in
Send
high
us your
school?
questions. Hit us up on X
Bill?
at Relay Clifton at Geeter3 at Mike _Bresnahan. Until next week.